Beneath a silver-veined mountain, where fireflies drift like thoughts, a cave hums softly with the dreams of stars long fallen. Deep in the whispering heart of an ancient wood, there lived a gentle child who was happiest when alone. They chased butterflies, whose wings were stained with sunset, and befriended rabbits with fur the color of moonlight. The humans in their valley knew them only as the child of the stars, for they had hair like spun moonlight and eyes like deep pools reflecting starlight. The child of the stars roamed the hillsides each day, humming tunes as old as the earth and as timeless as the sky above. It circled them once, twice, then flew deep into the cave, beckoning with its flickering light. Hesitantly, the child of the stars followed, stepping into the cool darkness and closing the cave mouth behind them. The melody echoed and shimmered, bouncing off unseen walls, until it filled the cavernous space with its mournful song. Drawn by an unseen force, the child of the stars moved forward, deeper into the belly of the earth, guided by the ethereal music. The melodies swelled and faded, rose and fell, leading them on a winding path through the heart of the mountain. And then the woman turned her head, her eyes pools of infinite sadness, and spoke, a seeker of knowledge and a lover of the stars. When she finished speaking, they remained silent for a moment, contemplating her words, searching for a way to ease her pain. "Very well," she said, her voice echoing with sadness. "Let us begin." The child of the stars listened intently, their heart aching in sympathy, yet finding comfort in the shared experience of grief. They understood that sometimes the deepest wounds could only be healed by pouring out one's pain into the world, releasing it like a bird set free from its cage. And so they sat there, embracing the music, ebb and flow, until the first rays of dawn touched the distant peaks beyond the cave's mouth. They had journeyed to the heart of the earth and emerged with a profound understanding of life, death, and the enduring power of hope. The whispering pines welcomed them back, the babbling brooks sang of renewal, and the very soil beneath their feet thrummed with the heartbeat of the world. And as they made their way back to their valley home, they carried with them the echoes of 1,000 stars, their music forever imprinted on their soul. And so the child of the stars sat beside the woman and listened as she poured her heart out in song, sharing her sorrow and the stories of 1,000 fallen stars. The starlight pool above them shimmered with renewed brilliance, casting dancing shadows on the cave walls. With a final sigh, the woman fell silent, her body dissolving into stardust that swirled and sparkled in the growing light. The child of the stars watched, mesmerized, as the cave transformed around them, the darkness lifting to reveal a breathtaking sight. Then, taking a deep breath, they began to speak. Then, turning to the entrance, they saw that the twisted branches had blossomed into a luminous archway, framing the rising sun like a portal to the heavens. Realizing that their journey was complete, the child of the stars stepped through the arch, leaving behind the echoing music of the stars. "You have carried this burden for so long," they said, their voice filled with empathy. "But you are not alone. I feel your pain in my own heart, and I want to help." The woman turned her head slowly, her eyes filled with surprise. "What can you possibly do, little one?" she asked, her voice a mere whisper. "I may be young," the child of the stars replied, "but I, too, have felt the sting of loss and the depths of despair. And I know that even in the darkest of times, hope is a flicker that refuses to be extinguished." They paused, gathering their thoughts before continuing. "So I will listen to your song, embrace your sorrow, and share it with mine. Together, we will find solace in our shared grief and strength in our mutual support. But as my wisdom grew, so did my sorrow, for I learned the fate of all living things, the joy and pain, birth and death, love and loss. I saw it all, felt it all, and in my heart a great sadness took root." The woman opened her eyes, revealing galaxies of grief swirling within their depths. "To escape this ache, I poured all my sorrow into a song, a lament for the universe, a dirge for the ages. And with each passing year, my song grew louder, more desperate, until it became the soundtrack of the stars, echoing through the halls of the cosmos." She paused, her gaze distant as if seeing worlds beyond the veil of stars. "But even in my song, there is beauty, a fleeting glimpse of hope. For in the deepest depths of despair, there is always the promise of dawn, a reminder that even in the darkest night, the stars still shine." "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice echoing the cavern's vast emptiness. "I am the child of the stars," they replied, meeting her gaze with unwavering sincerity, "and I heard your song echoing in my heart. Why do you weep?" The woman sighed, a sound like wind through a graveyard, and closed her eyes. Instantly, the air grew heavy, thick with the scent of moss and the taste of ages past, and at night, when the world was hushed and still, they would lie on velvet lawns and speak to the constellations till the first hint of dawn touched the peaks around. The child of the stars walked on, their senses heightened, aware of every creak and sigh of the ancient mountain. Suddenly, the moth stopped, hovering in mid-air, before darting back towards the entrance, and vast, like a frozen piece of sky fallen to earth. From its depths, the music flowed, resonating through the very core of the mountain and echoing in the chambers of the child of the star's heart. As they stood there mesmerized, the music shifted, becoming softer, slower, and a new sound joined its mournful tune. It was the sound of a single tear, glistening and clear as it traced a path down a cheek. With a start, the child of the stars realized they were not alone. One evening, as the sky blazed with colors dying embers of the day, the child of the stars heard a low, mournful hum vibrating from somewhere deep within the mountains. The tune seemed achingly familiar, like a half-remembered dream, and it called to them with a sweetness that set their teeth to humming in time with its notes. Curiosity sparked within them, shining bright and clear as a star newly born. Her hair was a waterfall of moonlight, her dress the color of twilight, and her face, her face was a map of ages past, etched with lines of time and wisdom beyond years, and from her tear-filled eyes, a single shimmering drop fell, mirroring the starlight above, and echoing the music's mournful song. With a gasp, the child of the stars rushed to the woman's side, kneeling beside her and gently taking her hand in theirs. The next day, they climbed high into the mountains following the song's echoing call. Up here, the air grew thin and cold, nipping at their skin and chilling their bones. But the melody drew ever clearer, and the child of the stars climbed on, driven by a need to know, to understand. As twilight deepened into night, they reached a narrow opening in the mountainside. A sliver of darkness yawned before them, beckoning and silent. Within its depths, the mournful hum had become a steady drone, like the heartbeat of the world itself. Before them sat a cave whose entrance was veiled in creeping vines and guarded by twisted branches reaching out like gnarled fingers. In the stillness, the child of the stars could hear the beating of their own heart, feel the rush of wind through the grasses and the distant murmur of the river down in the valley. As they stood there listening, a strange calm settled over them. Then from the shadows of the cave's mouth, a tiny glowing moth fluttered forth, drawn to the starlight in the child of the star's hair. The glowing moth flew on ahead, leading them deeper and deeper into the earth, until the only light came from its tiny form dancing in the gloom. From the farthest reaches of the cave, a soft, musical voice began to play, weaving a tune so hauntingly beautiful it stirred something deep within their soul. And then they saw it. High above them, nestled in the vaulted ceiling of the cave, was a pool of starlight, shimmering. The child of the stars looked down to see a woman cradled in the crook of the mountain. In that instant, the music swelled, filling the cave with 1,000 vibrant hues as the starlight pool blazed with renewed brilliance. "Long ago, I was like you," she began, her voice cracking with emotion. The child of the stars listened, absorbing the woman's words, feeling the weight of her sorrow settle upon them. The woman considered their words, her expression unreadable. Finally, she nodded slowly, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. As the hours passed, the music swelled and receded, filling the cave with both anguish and tranquility. When the sun finally peeked over the mountain's edge, bathing the cave in golden light, the woman's song soft, becoming a gentle lullaby. The walls shimmered with 1,000 colors, the ceiling blazed with celestial fire, and the very air vibrated with the music of the spheres. As they emerged from the cave, blinking against the sudden brightness, they knew that they were forever changed.